Hi, and welcome to the Scenic Route podcast, where we believe in embracing life's journey with purpose, curiosity, and a bit of potty humor. I'm Jen, a sociologist, someone's uncool mom, and I'm always looking out for that perfect slice of gluten-free rhubarb pie. Every week, I get the joy of sitting down with dreamers and doers who dare to take the road less traveled in pursuit of their own magic. Together, we dive into the inspiring stories of soulful entrepreneurs and visionary leaders who boldly share their beliefs, lessons, and fuck-ups. Excited? So am I. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And now, let's take this conversation off the beaten track. Laura Ordile, a master in hypnotherapy, specializes in guiding individuals to transformative life changes. Certified in neuro-linguistic programming and life coaching, she leverages her intuitive abilities to bring clients to their happiest, most successful selves. As a certified color coach, astrologist, and infinite possibilities trainer, Laura incorporates the power of the subconscious into her approach to personal growth. Based in Montana, USA, she finds joy in a scenic countryside and cherishes moment with her family and friends. Laura, welcome to the Scenic Route podcast. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, me too. I'm really excited because this season and the past couple of episodes, we've talked a lot about finding your own path. And this is also what the Scenic Route basically is all about. And we had a lot of how we can tune into our inner voice and how we also can how grieving is a part of finding your path and the transformation that comes with it. And today I'm really excited to look into a tool, astrology, as a way of adding meaning to things and lives, and less as if your sun sign is this and that, you are. We don't want to use too many boxes and labels, but rather see it as opportunities to deepen our understanding and why certain things are just the way they are. Right? Or how do you approach astrology in your daily life?
How do I approach it? Well, I used to, it was funny because, I kind of grew up with a lot of people that I love to look at my horoscope and all of that. And I didn't really know what it meant to be who I'm a Gemini, my sun sign, which is what most people will tell you. I'm this or that, or they'll know that what they call the big three, their sun, moon, and rising. Mm-hmm. But what I often talk about with people is that it's a lot like baking a cake. When you think that you have, I got my sun sign, I know. It's like, well, when you're baking the cake and you've got flour, it's not exactly a chocolate cake. It's just the flour that you've got.
And what a kind of idea. Yes.
And so it's that combination of all the other things involved in your chart that make you who you are and kind of influence the way that you live, whether it's how you think, how you feel emotionally, how you're going to be in the world, and things like that. And when I do a chart with someone, I love it because it can be so affirming for people and so useful to see who they really are, and that they came into the world with all the things in a way that doesn't have to be detrimental to them. We all lean into ourselves in one way or another. We all lean into certain aspects. But if you look at it and you go, maybe all your life you were told you're too sensitive, or you're too much. You need to chill down, right?
And chill pill.
Golly,
Yeah.
And so people kind of get that part of them kind of established in their thoughts and the way that they move in the world.
Yeah.
And so then they try to back off of, I need to maybe back off.
It becomes ingrained in your subconscious, and you're just is a filter that you approach things. If you're always like, I'm too much, you're always kind of dialing yourself down. And worst case, doubting yourself and completely, giving up on yourself.
Yeah, or you're exploding into being so much of that it just doesn't matter. It's like you just kind of go one direction or the other. And I love to be able to step in and go, you know what? You have a lot of fire in your chart. You are meant to be out there in front, being the bold one, being the warrior, the pioneer. You need to say the things that need to be said. You need to be the one that's blunt. You need to bring the fire to us so that the rest of us can kind of light our way. You are lighting the way for us and showing us. And so don't let anyone dim that in you. It's important to use that in the best possible way. Does that mean you go, balls to the wall with it? No. That means that you use it to the benefit of you and everyone around you. Yeah. And when I do a chart, that's how I talk to people about it, that I explain, here's how you use that. Because sometimes people will go, oh yeah, that's kind of, I have a hard time with that. That's something I'm always trying to manage or work on. And I help them to say, here's how you can do that. Here's how you manage that in a way that brings out the best parts of it in your life. And people don't understand, but we have the 4 elements in astrology really tell you a lot about the people that are in that. And there's groups in each one. But with fire, they are the ones that are going to be bold and speak and be out there and
fiery and spicy, and
they are. And Aries, they're going to often be the ones that need to do for themselves and kind of push forward and be an individual and be that person that's up front and they're the ram, they're going to ram things through. And when people look at that, instead of understanding that that's who they are and that's a part of them and that's a natural ability, you can help them.
And that is a good thing, right? Because especially when you grow up as a woman, it's not necessarily something to be like, oh yes, let's be the ramp up. Let's be the wrecking ball to push in.
Well, but it does because it's being that pioneer. It's opening the door for things, opening the way for others to follow through. And so it is incredibly important. It is what's there. And when someone outside of you can look and go, oh, okay, I get it. I get that energy. Then they don't attack you or get so upset with it. They're like, oh, there's that energy. You can do that for your kids. When you see your kids and you look at your kids' charts and things, you can look and help them manage the energy and move into the energy that they have a lot of and that they can work with in a way that guides them. And so you're not telling them, you're too much, calm down all the time. It's like, ooh, okay, let's go for a walk or let's get that energy moving. Because
give them other tools than just shaming them.
Give them tools to help with that energy because fire signs find rest in movement. If they sit around and they're like, it feels like they
get turn into or something.
A giant slug, it just is very uncomfortable for them. And so when they're moving and doing, it's like, oh, okay, the energy's opening up. I can feel like I'm okay again. I can breathe again. I can be all of that.
How do the other, so we said all signs are part of one of the 4 elements. So curious if mezzo, does each of the elements get rest? We said fire finds rest through movement. What about air, fire, air, earth, and water?
Right. With air people, they're the ones that are always up in their head. They're always got the idea. They're probably going to interrupt you in conversation. They're going to be the one that hops to 17 different things and they're starting this and they're doing that. And they're reading 7 books and they're kind of what some people would call scattered. They're scattered. And but they are innovators. They're the ones that are going to bring the ideas into the world. And they're the ones that are communicators. They're the podcasters. They're the journalers. They're the writers.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah. And so they have that energy. And so for the funny thing with air signs, they will talk about emotions all day long. They'll tell you all about it, but they don't want to feel them. They don't want to take the time.
Get out.
And feel them.
I feel my therapist should should have talked to you before she started having me in therapy. Yeah.
The person that I learned astrology from is a psychotherapist. That's part of it. She would use charts in the work that she did with people.
Very smart.
Yeah. And so with air signs, when they're doing that, what they don't realize is that it's super easy for any sign, for anyone to actually process and feel emotions. The thing that gets a problem is people think you have to sit and take time and really see what's there and really feel it out. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to experience this, and I might cry, or I might be angry, or I don't know what's going to happen. But it's not true. What you really have to do is acknowledge and become aware of the feeling that's there, which means as long as it took me to say that, that's how long you need to spend in that energy, in that emotion. Mm-hmm. Acknowledge it. Let it flow through you and move out. Don't hold it. Don't keep it here. That's when you get into trouble, is when you try to hold things and not let them flow through you.
Yeah.
So to take that moment and allow that energy to kind of flow through is a wonderful thing to do.
Great.
Yeah, it is. And it's super simple. Will that come back? It might, but you take another minute and you acknowledge it and come aware. Mm-hmm. Sometimes once you come into that awareness of it, it kind of goes in the corner, and it's like, I called that little part of me like Clyde, and it's like, go have a burger and a beer in the corner, Clyde. It's going to be okay. If you need to come back and talk to me later, mm-hmm. we'll do that later. But, and
how do we find rest then? Like, how do we, as air signs,
air signs, to find rest, to feel good, is really to allow to do the things that just allow you to find joy, no matter what anybody says about you doing mm-hmm. them. Scrolling on, the socials. It might mean doing a podcast. It might mean sitting and having a conversation or journaling. Whatever it is that allows you to kind of get the thoughts wherever you want to be, or to rest the thoughts. A lot of them will kind of find the time to watch TV, listen to a book, do something like that. Sometimes when they're doing, it depends on what else you've got going on in your chart. But if you've got a lot of air going on, it's going to be a lot of communication, or a lot of brief moments of hopping in here, hopping in here, hopping in here, because that's a natural thing for you to do. And people sometimes get annoyed. Where you just, when you clean house, you're not going to be the person that starts over here and does this and goes all the way through. You're going to start here and be like, okay, I'm bored with that. I need to go over here.
Yeah, and you remember the back closets and
you're going to, that's okay. Know that that's okay. Yeah. Do it in the way that you want to do it, so that it does feel good and right, and accept that you're not doing it wrong. That's the most important thing, because then you can find rest in using that energy. You can find feeling good because you did 6 different things today.
Yeah, they all were joyful to you.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what it is to anyone else, and it doesn't matter if they were, you went over.
It doesn't need to make sense,
and it doesn't have to make sense
kind of way. Yeah,
anything, but it might be making a phone call to someone. It's that simple, and so allowing it.
How do water signs and earth signs?
Water signs they're the ones that get accused of being too emotional, too sensitive, too much. Oh my God. Scorpios get such a bad rap. They get told, you're so intense, you're so much, and oh my goodness, and they'll take you down deep into conversation, like boom, and you're going, what is
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, what? And then they're digging into you, and you're going, whoa, wait a minute. Because that's the important conversation to a Scorpio. They want to get
no time for small talk.
No time for small talk. They're into that underflow of life, all of the stuff that makes life happen. If you're if you've ever seen a picture of like underwater that's really clear and beautiful, often the paintings that they make, with you can see above and below, and they're both really clear. That's what the water signs, especially Scorpios, see. They see that in such clarity. They see life and death and all of that, and they want to share it with us. And so sometimes for those of us up on the top that are looking down in the water going, yeah, that's kind of murky. I don't know. They try to drag us down really quickly. And we're like, I can't breathe. I
Too
can't,
fast, too fast.
too fast. And so, but when you do realize that that's where they're at and that's what's important to them, they're great detectives. They will get all the little information out of people. But it's so amazing. And for water signs, they carry such emotion. So oftentimes, I'll start with Scorpio real quick, but with Scorpio, if you think about the emotional realm of what's going on inside of a Scorpio, if you've had a day at the beach and you've been in the waves and you're tumbling around in the waves and you're getting beat up and you kind of learn to dive under, to ride them in, to notice they spend their life in the waves, in that emotional turning of things, while the rest of us are over on the lazy river. What's the problem? What's going on? We're going with the waves now. Yeah, we get a few bumps here and there, but and they're trying to like hold themselves at a even keel in those big waves. That's what it's like for them. So when you can understand that, they don't become so intense or so weird. They become this amazing person that you can have this in-depth conversation with. Cancer are beautiful. They have such a heart, and they will be the one that, here's a little interesting thing. I'm going to throw a little side thing in here for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
They will say, I'm so empathic. I feel everything for everyone. A lot of water signs will. And they are to a point, yes. But what they really are most of the time is what's called sympathic. That means they're taking everything on and not managing it in a way that it's meant to work for them. That is a true empath, someone who manages the energy and uses it in a way as a caretaker. You want someone who, the doctor that comes in and feels the way to have a conversation with you, knows maybe what you're really upset about or what your concerns are. That is an empathic conversation right there. And that's what water signs can do for us. They can show us how beautiful emotions are. And literally, they will feel best and rest in water. In water. Putting your feet in water. Water is a great channeler of emotion. So if anyone, I express it to anyone, if you're having struggles with emotions in any way, you either are too emotional or you can't express your emotions in some way, you're stuck, get in water. Get in your bathtub. Add some Epsom salt, add whatever you want, but get in water. Go put your feet in the creek. Go dive into a pool. Wherever you can find water, get in water and let it channel those emotions for you. Let it help to flow, the energy of the flow of those emotions. Mm-hmm. And the Pisces in there, they're our dreamers, our drifters. They're the ones that are going to go into the mystical, magical world and talk about all of this stuff and kind of go, on the other side. Ooh, let's talk about that, probably with a Scorpio. But they're gonna have all that conversation that's there. And then when you dive into our earth signs, oh my goodness, these are the ones that probably when they were younger were told, don't be so bossy, first of all, don't be so bossy, and hurry up. You're so slow. You need to hurry up and get stuff done.
Yeah.
Because
I think of my one friend, and she's an Aries.
I have one of my best friends is a Taurus, and she
bless her heart,
almost always be late.
Bless her heart. Yeah.
But she will be the one that will start the story 2 months ago to tell you about what happened 2 hours ago. But you have to understand,
where she's coming from.
Back here. And she will tell you everything. But they are people who show us how important Earth is. They will be the ones that can, they probably grow plants like crazy, because they literally have that Earth energy. They bring about the manifestation in the world for us. They show us the importance of security, of money, of taking your time and living in the luxury that you want in your life. Taurus, they might take their time and be slow in things and be like, ooh, okay, but they will have something beautiful that makes them feel good and wonderful and show you how amazing that feels in your life. The Capricorns, they are leaders. They will always think they're right, and they will tell you this is what you should do and this is how you should do it, but they are amazing leaders. And so when they use that energy in the right way, it produces things that are incredible, and they are good at it, very good at it. Virgos, little Virgos, they will unfortunately beat themselves up a lot and really be the perfectionists, but they are dang good at putting systems into play.
Oh, yeah.
Very good at putting systems into play. And they will be the ones that have all the checklists, and they want that checklist. And they will be the ones that
really picture up my Virgo friends. Yeah, the checklist is sure there.
Yeah. And they show us, they help us to run our systems, to put a better system into place and do that. And so, and going through all of them, it's so many, like in the air signs too, I didn't even touch on like the Libra. Oh my goodness, they're so cute. They will be the ones that they're like, I really want to be in a relationship. And then they get in a relationship and they're like, oh my God, I need a long time. I really need some alone time. And so they go back and forth. But the beauty is Libra is like one of the like exalted positions of life for us, because the biggest life lesson, the biggest thing for us always is relationship. We have relationships with everything, with our home, with the world, with ourselves, with dog, with whatever it is. So it's not just people relationships, it's relationships of everything. And Libra shows us and is meant to explore the back and forth of being in that relationship with whatever it is, and then bringing it back to who we are in the wholeness of ourselves, and that we can be both. We can be whole and right and be in any relationship.
Okay, and kind of like swing between extremes and like coming back to that there.
The infinity sign, where it's traveling back and forth and connecting on both ends. We need time alone. And we need time in relationships. And some people will say, I don't like people, I don't want, but I don't care who you are. You need to have connection in some way.
Yeah.
With other life.
Yeah. Even if you don't want, you are in connection with yourself, with your surroundings. I mean, even if
and the Aquarians who are the other sign, there are weird and wild ones. They are the ones that will fly the freak flag. They will be the one that dives into all the stuff. They're networkers. They kind of jump out.
Yeah, I mean, no wonder like the 70s were the age of Aquarius. Right?
And they're the ones that kind of want to bring everybody together, save the earth, take care of everything. They're also incredibly science oriented, like all of our gadgets. They're genius. They will want all of the little gadgets and the connection to, because it opens up the world.
Yeah.
This right here opens up the world. So they're going to love that, and they're going to be really good at that. And they're going to be in some form connected to those things at a really intense, amazing level.
I love how you speak about all the signs. It's so cute. I love it. You're champion all of them. Yes, rightly so, right? Like, there's no one that's better or worse off than the other. Like, they're all straight out.
No, they're all amazing, and that's what I try to show someone. And we're on the topic about rest for the
Earth
sign. It is again absolutely connecting with the earth.
Okay.
Like we're
gardening.
Earth. There's an actual thing called earthing. And it is connecting physically with our earth, which we don't get to do as often anymore today. We work inside, we work in buildings, we sleep on a bed, we wear shoes that are not natural fibers. And so we don't connect. But what happens is when you connect with it changes the physicality of your body. It changes at a level that eliminates like a lot of things in your body and processes stuff, eliminates inflammation, does all these amazing things. So we're meant to do that, to have that connection with our earth. It's really important. So who did I not talk about? I guess I talk a little bit about the fire signs. The Aries I talked about.
Yeah.
Leos are amazing.
Oh, yes, Leos.
And they're so cute. They make me laugh. they will be the ones that go, ooh, look at me. And then they'll hide and go, oh, wait, don't look at me. No, don't look at me.
Okay.
But they will be the ones that have their hair done, that have the makeup, that have the clothes, that feel, they want to feel good in the presentations of themselves. They're also the ones that entertain us, often the ones that will make us laugh, that will have that kind of fun connection and the ability to want to play and have joy out there and take the risk. They will be the risk takers out there that say, ooh, let's do this. And want to have the romance of things in play because it's beautiful and it's fun and they want to have fun. And that's so much. I have a Leo friend and it is about, how does her hair look and how's her makeup and all that. And she's so cute, but then it'll be like, she doesn't want the attention or like it's okay. It's okay to want the attention and to put yourself out there just like a lion, with the big mane of hair and everything out there being beautiful. And then there's the Sagittarians, and the Sagittarians, the fire there, they will be the ones that will show us the big picture in life. And they are the seekers of that next level, the higher education of the philosophers out there. And they might have a little issue with what truth is. They'll kind of bend it or fit it to,
they're narrative.
So it is kind of a thing to come into your truth with the Sagittarians and know that it's okay to speak your truth. It's okay to be in your truth and to really put that forward. So I think I got everybody.
What are some common misconceptions about astrology that, I don't know, most people get wrong?
Well, and then unfortunately, because of the way sometimes people do astrology or share astrology, I think it's so complicated. It's too complicated or it's all woo-woo. It's just nothing. It's actually
not
really
scientific or that.
Yeah, and it is really scientific. And it's been around for a long time. And as you look at it and the way that it is done, you'll find the incredibleness of it. When I look at a chart, I'm looking at it and it's going to be like, oh, okay, that's there. I can pinpoint certain things and pinpoint certain times in your life.
Yeah.
Anytime around 28 to 29 years old, and this, I will go into a reading with people, and this is the part I will go right here to this year and say, something big, a big change in your life happened here. It would have been everything fell apart. Everything was horrible. Or something wonderful happened. You got married, you had a kid, you graduated, you had a big move, something like that. And they will tell me, yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this happened. Might have been when they were 28, might have been closer to 30, but right in there. And what that is it's a Saturn return. And when I get into astrology speak, which is one of the things that's wrong with sometimes astrology when they're saying, well, Saturn is, conjunct this and against that, and it's true.
Yeah, that does sound very complex, to be fair.
It's like, what? What'd you say? What? And I know most of it, and I'm still going, what are you talking about? Don't get what you're talking about.
Yeah, but quadrant to something, and like.
If you say, oh, this one's really close to this one, and so they're kind of influencing each other.
I get that.
Tell me that.
Yeah. Or they're like opposite each other. I get that.
Yeah, but they're in conflict. They're pulling against.
Get that too.
And so you understand that. And that is the thing that people really need to look for in kind of having the conversation with someone if they're going to have their chart done is, what is that initial conversation like? How are they explaining or talking about things? And are they doing it in a way that's going to make sense to you and help you? Because it's a lot. When I do a reading, it's a lot of information. And as I was saying, like that Saturn return, that's a big check-in for us in our life. We get a couple of them in life. And when that happens, it's kind of like the high school principal going, hey, are you where you need to be? Are you doing what you need to be doing? Or do we need to correct stuff right now and really lean into how you're supposed to be going forward now if you want things to go better in your life? And that's So it's telling us and showing us. You mentioned, I think before we were on here, you said something about Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
Everybody freaks out about Mercury retrograde.
Oh, God, yes. Let's talk about Mercury retrograde for a second. Why do we all freak out when it's Mercury retrograde?
Because everybody blames everything. It's like, oh my gosh, it's happening. Don't do this. Don't do that. And your electronics are going to freak out. Everything. And it's like, actually what Mercury retrograde is asking us to do is to slow the roll, slow it down a little bit. Mercury is all about our mind. It's how our mind works. And so it's saying, take a moment and see what's going on. Think about it for just a minute.
Maybe not sign something right this second, but have a sleep on it.
Yeah, have a sleep on it. If it's good and right and everything's good and you've double checked it, important that you double checked it, go forward with it. Do that thing, But it is saying, pay attention right now. Pay attention, because we get so fast in our lives. It's almost like, you see little kids running downhill. Oh, and you're like, you just want them to slow down because they're, any minute they're going to tumble.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I see my 4-year-old. Yep. Happened.
That's what Mercury retrograde is doing for us. It's saying, whoa, slow down just for a minute.
So all the tech issues that we may or may not experience during Mercury retrograde are actually a sign to slow you the fuck down because you're going too fast.
Yeah, slow down. Take a minute.
I love that.
Take a minute. And maybe step away for a second to clear your mind, to clear whatever it is that you need. Come back to it in a little bit.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. It'll still be there. And we have such a tendency to get, up here and oh my gosh. And is it always convenient when something happens electronically? No, usually not. But if you can find in yourself that moment to go, it's okay anyway. It's all right. It's okay if we have to reschedule something, or it's okay if I can't get on and scroll Facebook for 10 minutes or whatever right now. I can do it in 30 minutes or whatever it is. You find something else to redirect to until you can bring yourself back into the energy of, okay, let's do this again. Let's take our time. Let's take a breath. Let's do this. So you're not tumbling down on yourself.
Oh, yes. I love this. Yes, I think Mercury retrograde is one of the biggest buzzwords. And then obviously when it comes to astrology, as you've said before, most people who are at one point in their life have looked into astrology will know like their sun sign, their moon sign, and their rising.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. Is that something that where you guess what people's like sun, moon, rising are, or is it something like you're like, no, not doing that?
Oh, I don't guess at anything. I might be really curious about something, but we move into our own energies in ways that are so different. We might be shutting down our emotional self right now, and not exhibiting where our moon is, because the moon is our emotional energy, and so. Or it might be that we're experiencing what I think is a wonderful gift and so fun is called the progressed moon. And what that is that astrology has given us this beautiful thing that every 29 months, our emotional self moves into something a little bit different. So maybe your moon is in Gemini. So, you're in an air sign. Well, right now, the progressed moon might be in Taurus, right? And so your heart, even though you love to communicate, you love to do these things, you love to read and find 72 books, you might actually be moving into a space where it feels like, I kind of feel like I want to, just be in my home and redo my home a little and bring some beautiful things into my life, or just kind of, I'm feeling a need to have a little more money around to make my heart feel okay, to feel good emotionally. That's what that Taurus progressed moon is going to give to you. It's going to give you the example of what it feels like to have a basis in Taurus. It's going to do that through all the signs. So it's giving you a gift of experiencing what it feels like to be in something else and what really is important to someone else's heart. And so when it's doing that, if you're ignoring it, it's going to get your attention. It's really fascinating.
It always does, one way or another.
It will do it physically. It will physically bring on some things that will go, what is happening right now? Why is this happening? But if you move into expressing yourself in this way, to maybe gathering cash around and having it around, to slowing down a little bit and saying, what would I change around here? How do I want my home to feel like my sanctuary?
Yeah.
If you're doing these things, you're going to be rolling along doing good, feeling good, because you're taking the gift and using it in the way that the universe is wanting you to. And so it takes you through all these different things. Sometimes it can be uncomfortable. It can be difficult when your progress moon is maybe in a water sign and you're feeling like really emotional about stuff and family and really wanting to be the caretaker all of a sudden. And you just, this a big heart and you want to do all these things, but you're being given a gift.
Like, people are now curious. I was just like, how do I find out where my progressed moon is at the moment, right? You said you move through one each 2.5 years?
Yeah, 2.5 years, 29 months, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I have, I think I sent over in that, and if you don't have it now, make sure to get it to you. But on my website, there's a freebie section. And if you go in there, there's a place that it says natal and progress moon or something. It says something about the moon. And that's a freebie in there, and it will actually show you, there's a little video attached in there, how to find your progress moon online and how to go find that and do that. And then it also has a quick sheet, a little cheat sheet that says
cheat sheet.
When it's here, it gives two different examples because we didn't get into the houses and stuff, but the houses are an influence in astrology as well. It kind of shows up in a little bit.
Yeah, that would be my next question of how can we figure
so it brings that in and influences. So it's like, okay, if your progress moon is here and here, so maybe it's in Taurus, but it's in the third house.
Yeah.
Third house is Gemini. The relation is there, so you can kind of grasp that. It's going to be that you are in that place of finding security, of rebuilding foundations, of doing those things. And because it's in the third house right now, flowing through there as well, you need to communicate about it. You need to talk about it. You need to move through that with someone, in some way, whether you're writing it down, talking about it, writing a book about it, I don't care, but communicate about that. So that's the influence that kind of tops onto that. But that's a free little thing that I put together that I think is
we will link it in the show notes for sure, because this is also I'm going to download right soon after we're going to finish. And I'm glad you mentioned the houses, because this is where I kind of struggle with putting the pieces together, right? So, for example, I know my moon is in Virgo in the fourth house. So, okay, I know Virgo, we've said like perfecting, analytical, fourth house, like parents, home, family, foundations. Okay, cool. And now I'm kind of like, how do I like?
So what that means is your emotion, your base emotion. Like if you go back into a corner, or there was an emergency, or there was something going on, you're going to be the one who goes, okay, and you're going to think practically about it. You're going to go, we need this, let's do this. You're going to have your checklist.
Super in crisis mode.
Yes. Call 911, get the Band-Aid, do this, do that, or, whatever. You're going to be that person, right, that does that. With it in the fourth house, maybe not in a crisis mode, but in natural mode. So you're going to do that naturally. Your go-to emotionally is going to be practicality. It's going to go, let's think about this practically. Let's do this. And so you go there. And then when you bring in the influence of the fourth house, That's Cancer. That's the emotional. Think about a Cancer. They have that soft underbelly, right? The crab with this protection that's out here. And that's definitely family focused. Definitely family focused and the caretaker. So you're going to be someone who at heart wants to help take care of people, but you want to give them a way to do it. It's like, here's how you do that. Yeah. Here's how you care for yourself. Here's the best way. Yeah. And you're always going to have that kind of underlying heart of taking care of those people closest to you. But you really want them to know that it's not all emotional stuff. There's things that you need to do to take care of yourself. There's things that have to be in play, and you're going to show them that's how you show love, by doing some of that for them. Do you find yourself doing that? Would you express that way? With whether it's an actual family or someone you consider family?
It's not actual family. I'm very much to some extent, yes, actual family, but also very much with chosen family.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
And that might be, but that's the people that you feel close to.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't have to be blood relation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's people right here that are within that little, hold them close to you, and they're allowed kind of underneath in that little shell that you have, and you're gonna take care of them.
Yeah,
you're definitely gonna have a way for them to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also know like how like the Virgo is sometimes in like, let's look at this practically, yes, but sometimes it's almost kind of like it's in dispute with my Sun and Rising, which are both Gemini. So it's like, oh no, let's look at this practically. So I don't know. I don't often feel like Virgo's coming in and shitting on the parade.
Yeah, because it's like you have these shoulds in yourself. Virgos are should all over themselves all the time. I should be doing this. I should do that. I should. Mm-hmm. And then it's not good enough, and it needs to be perfect, and that's not the way to do it. And sometimes it is a struggle of they're not going to want to let go of things that are around them because you're not doing it right. You're not, and I gave you the way to do it, and you're not doing it right. And so it's an innate thing for them to sometimes be a little critical. But it's not like they're doing it never. It's just that they're like trying to help. They're trying to tell you, here's how.
Yes, I always have the best intentions at heart.
And all of that Gemini is going to come in with all of these ideas and these ways for you to do that. And for, and you've got one thing that's there is that with Gemini and with Virgo is Mercury. It rules both of them.
Yeah.
And so it's very kind of back and forth, very flexible in things, very mercurial in the way that it will do things. So it might be that you set up a system and it's like, okay, we need to switch that up. We need to change that a little bit. And so it switch that up a little bit. But always looking for the best way for things to be done. Always looking for that.
Okay. So so we say like the signs are kind of like how we do certain things. Like we have the fiery energy, or we have the balancing, the back and forth, or the going deep, and the house kind of like where we're experienced all of this, where we live it. I don't know. I somehow think of like a TV with like back in the days where you had to go. I mean, I know when I was a kid, like first TV was like this. You had to actually go to the TV and like switch the channels, like in the 80s. And I feel like, I don't know, each house is like a channel, and then you see yourself acting in this like house on that channel or something like that. I don't know. That's what just came to mind.
Because that the planet or the sign is going to be that foundation of that base layer that's there. That's kind of how it is in our life. And the house is going to be it is going to be kind of maybe how that's coming into play for us, or how that accents it. So if you are, let's say, your mind is in Aries. Okay. Your mind is in Mercury's in Aries. And so your mental way of being is in Aries, except it sits in the, let's say, 8th house. Okay. Scorpio. So you have fire and water, first of all, which some people would go, ooh, how's that work? You got fire and water. One of them is going to be messing up
the other, or like, yeah.
However, think about fire and water. They come together. They make steam. Very powerful. Very
true. Yes.
And so it's how you use it. It's how you use your energy. So if your mind is up there and it's quick and it's quick and it's quick, but it's sitting in the 8th house where it's like, go deep. We're going to go deep. We're going to dive in. We're going to find all the things. We're going to swim down in this emotional realm of things. It might be that you are the one that's going to go first and pioneer in a way that does go deep into something, that does say, you've never looked at it this way. Let's look at it this way. Let's go in and dig that out a little bit. And it might be that you have to understand that your mind does start swimming around a little bit, or does kind of go deep into some things, and it goes down some of those little holes.
It's just part of your natural process.
That's a part of your natural process. And it's going to be quick and move through these things. And at the same time, it's going to be pulling you to go deeper. So that's where you're the one that goes, okay, let's work together. Let's do this together. Create that steam. And I'm going to choose a few different things to go quick and deep into. And I'm going to do that and spend my time really in there. And that doesn't mean that I can't come back and go into this other one even deeper.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just to the side for the moment, because I need to be quick in what I'm doing right here. My brain is moving in that fire where I need to be crackling and moving in the energy. And so, you just have to go, okay, when I do feel it pulling off into another place or something, it's like, we're going to do that later. Just like I was talking about Clyde a while ago, you kind of go, okay, Clyde, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Right now.
You're in the better now.
We're moving. Let's do this, And so, but when you understand that that's what's happening, instead of getting frustrated with yourself, instead of going, oh, geez, here I go again. It's like, oh yeah, I know what that feels like. I'm going to kind of know
what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so it feels like, oh yeah, and I can use that energy in this way. I'm going to redirect it to go this way.
I love it. Yeah. We talked at the beginning of like how astrology as a tool can like help us to find our path. And from what we've talked before, I feel we have to, before we end our beautiful conversation, we have to talk about the role of Saturn. Saturn is playing in helping us figuring out our life's path, purpose, or gift. So what is there to, what can you tell us? So I know my Saturn, like I'm not English. English is not my first language. So I have Saturn. There you go. Thank you very much. Is in Scorpio in the 6th house.
Okay. So
what do we do with that, Laura?
That means that it is going to be all about going deep in your life. And it is going to be about learning to swim sometimes in those emotional realms in a way that you don't get drowned, that you don't get overwhelmed, that you don't allow that to happen. And to bring it in, so you have earth and water, right? They're pretty complementary. So they can allow you to go to an emotional realm, to be in a space that allows others, because you're going to understand at a level the emotional realm of most people. And to be able to do that, and with the 6th house, that's going to be bring that into use. Put it into a system that you use to help people. Put it into a way that it's not about perfection. It's not about that, but it might be Virgo or sixth house is also around health and wellness, and especially women's health. So it might be that it's about going deep into women's health, into health and wellness in general, in helping people to find that deep part of themselves and the path that they are going to take in life. And when you really do live in that energy and not get overwhelmed or frustrated or, get pissy and all of that stuff, that's like, that it's Scorpio, they have that little tail and they can strike out in a way that is like, and to find that, oh, I can do that. All right. Well, how do I navigate without really bringing that part into things, even though it's a part of me and it's not a bad part. It's just a part that might come out when I get overwhelmed, or I've been struggling in my own emotions for a while, or I'm under the water for too long and I haven't come up for a breath, because we do need to come up for that breath. And you can pull in that sixth house to ground it a little bit, to go, how can I be useful in my community? Because it's there. And it's like, how do I help people to find a plan that's going to help them to move in their own health and wellness in the way? So that's a big part of your life purpose. Do you feel that with yourself?
It's very interesting, as I'm currently, I don't want to say burned, because I do like fire, but I'm not actually, like, I'm in the process of doing a lot of things differently, and that means closing a lot of things down. So there are other opportunities and more capacity for new things. And one of the new things is, yes, I will shift the way of how I'm of service from brand strategy to working more closely with the overall well-being of people. So, yes, I feel seen.
That's wonderful. You're moving right into the best energy of yourself and doing that. And I want to say just for a second, real quick, because we talked a lot about individual energies and those things. Yeah. We're also, the kind of universal energies, the transits, or it's called, where the planets are now and what's happening. And there's
change, big change.
Shift. There has. And one of those is that Pluto has shifted. And so it's very interesting. I find it so fun to see kind of how people are reacting to it.
Oh yeah, I have massive, big time.
Yeah, it's gone from this energy for years. So a lot of people have grown up or really been in the process of this energy that was Capricorn, that was get it done, do the work.
That was very much like the 90s, early 2000s, the whole
right.
Wolf of Wall Street kind of vibe.
Yeah, because it's very much that leadership energy of, hey, we've got to push, we've got to get it done, we've got to move in that energy. And what's happened is it's shifted from Capricorn into an air sign, which is Aquarius. And so it's moved into this light energy of, ooh, let's network, let's communicate, let's talk to all the different people, let's lighten up a little bit, let's maybe volunteer over here. How can we make this a better way? And if you've noticed, technology is really, really amping into all the new things that are just, it's speeding up more and more and more. And that's a big part of Aquarius. But what's happened with people is, for a lot of people, they've come out of it and now they're in this new energy, and they feel like either two things are happening. They're going, oh my goodness, I feel so much better. I feel lighter. I feel like I can breathe again. I feel like I can make some wonderful choices without all the pressure. All of
that's my team.
But what's happening for other people is they're going, oh my gosh, I am feeling so untethered. I'm not grounded. I don't know what's happening. I don't know which way to turn. I feel confused. I don't know. And, when you're free flying up here and it's like, oh my gosh, you don't have your feet on the ground anymore. It can be very disconcerting for people. And so they're feeling like one of those two ways that I find when I talk to most people.
Yeah,
Let's just imagine, like,
100%.
how can I work with that energy to feel okay? The people that are like light and airy and feeling good, that's great. Make sure that you do jump into that. At the same time, bring in a little grounding. Make sure that you're not too far out in la la land and the thought process, and ground a little bit. We're meant to function in all four energies every day. Every day.
Oh God,
it's like a car with four tires. If you have one that's all pumped up, you're going to limp along. If you have one that's flat tire, you're not engaging with at all, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to manage to move through your life in a way that feels okay.
But this is very much true. Like when I speak to one of my best friends, like I'm like, yes, change, transformation, woo, all the new things. And I'm like, and she's like, yeah, but she feels queasy and and maybe for like a closing note, I feel this season right now with Aquarius and Pluto, those people have a harder time than maybe air signs. So we're like, this is our jam. So how can people who are not feeling like, yes, this is the best time ever, support themselves?
Engage in balancing all of those energies in yourself. Do something in all of those every day. If you're feeling really emotional or you're feeling like you're not expressing emotion enough, get in the water. Connect with water, and allow yourself those 20, 30 seconds to feel an emotion. And, life is kind of like a roller coaster. And we're meant to be in constant motion and flow in moving. It's not about staying stuck in any one place. When you think about that roller coaster, it moves with momentum. If it gets stuck down in this little well down here of feeling too much or thinking too much or you're not moving, you're not progressing, you're not allowing the flow of things to move through you. So we're supposed to do all of those. If you need and you feel like your head is, all clogged up, or there's the fog or something like that going on, and you really just can't think or you can't express yourself, sit down and write for 5 minutes. Turn on some classical music, write about whatever. Write about the fact that you feel silly writing. It doesn't matter. Write it out. Excuse me. But do that and do it every day. Communicate with someone in some way, whether it's yourself or someone else. Communicate. Bring in that emotional realm. Watch a movie. One that makes you laugh, one that makes you excited, one that makes you cry, whatever it is for you, just so you have that emotional reaction to something, or get in water. Fire. Move your body. Move your body. And say the thing. Be blunt. Be direct. In kindness, but be direct. You don't have to hold back all the words that you need to be speaking. Speak your truth. You are meant to, and it's an important part for you to do that. And in, who did I miss? Earth. Earth. Every day we go out into the world to be useful in some way. Be useful in some way. I don't care if it's getting up, making your bed, even a little bit. You have accomplished something. Awesome. Get outside and literally connect with the earth if you can. Barefooted if you can.
Earthing.
Earthing. Do the earthing thing. But if you can't, find another part of that earth, whether it is moving into leadership, feeling like, I can step out in this way a little bit somehow. Or if you're feeling like you really need to be secure in yourself, get some money and put it under your pillow, or put it in a coffee can, or put it somewhere where you know where it is that makes you feel like, okay, I have a little bit of money right there in case I need it. I'm good. You'll be amazed when you have those things that you just do it. Just do it. Or go buy yourself the next level, the next luxurious, instead of the $7 champagne, you buy the $15 champagne for yourself. Treat yourself in a way.
Do something is nice.
Do something every day.
Wear the good clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, wear the good clothes, use the good china. What are you saving the lotion for? It's going to go bad. And so use it, open it up and use it. And it's so hard sometimes for people, especially if you have grown up with any of like those subconscious things. And that's a whole nother conversation to work on. But if you have those things that you might not have enough, or you've got to, build. And unfortunately, we just went through a time where that brought a lot of that to the surface, going into lockdown, not having toilet paper, only being allowed,
restricted to how far we go, leave our house,
being constrained and stuck. And am I going to run out of anything, or what's, with that insecurity of it all? Mm-hmm. All of these things could have kind of clicked and come into instigating a line of something in your subconscious. So allow yourself to kind of really function in some small way with everything, and engage in some small way with every one of those elements every day.
That sounds like a very good challenge. And if you're still listening to us hammering on about astrology, do this for a week. Let us know in the comments how you're doing, what you're doing. If you're like every of the 4 signs of the 4 elements is like what you did for each element of for each day, let us know. And it's a good reminder. I'll join a challenge too. It's a very good reminder to keep things balanced and in flow. So Laura, before we head off, let us know where people can find you if they want to know more about you and your work.
They can find me. My name is Laura Ordile. Looks like Ordile, but you can find me at LauraOrdile.com. And that I'm on socials under my name as well. So Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And then I have a free group, and you can actually, in the free group, there's some classes that I did on astrology that are in there still. And you can go in there and get those. And that's under the Change Gang on Facebook. And I actually have a podcast called The Change Gang. So you can come listen to that as well.
Perfect. We're going to link all of that in the show notes, as well as the Progress Moon freebie you have, because I'm dying to know. Before I let you off the hook, always have one last question. What book are you currently reading, or what audiobook are you listening to?
Oh, I just finished this amazing book, and I'm probably going to read it again. It's called The Reconnection by Dr. Eric Pearl.
Oh.
And it was incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It talks about healing yourself and others, and it just takes it into a level that is so simple and yet so amazing. It's kind of around energy work. He talks about why he uses the word energy, but how it's a little bit different. So if you have the chance to, I would recommend that to anyone. Absolutely go and listen. It's on Audible, and you can get a hard copy. So either one.
That sounds perfect. We're going to link it to you, and it's going to go into the Scenic Route library if you're ever short on what to read next. Or, I don't know. I'm sure, Laura, you're not just reading one book at a time, right?
No, I'm not. I actually am reading, and then I've got a few fiction books that I listen to. Reading. If you walk in my house, you will find a book, pretty much every...
Yeah, I got a pile there, and I got a pile there.
Yeah, I have a lot. And I'm in the middle of about 7 of them, actually. I'm probably reading about 7 of them. So,
yeah, that sounds, it takes one to know one. I love this. Laura, thank you so much for being on the Scenic Route with me.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a great conversation. I hope you enjoyed it.
And just like that, we've reached the end of another journey together on the Scenic Route podcast. Thank you for spending time with us. Curious for more stories or in search of the resources mentioned in today's episode? Visit us at scenicroutepodcast.com for everything you need. And if you're ready to embrace your scenic route, I've got something special for you. Step off the beaten path with my Scenic Route affirmation card deck. It's crafted for those moments when you're seeking courage, yearning to trust your inner voice, and eager to carve out a path authentically, unmistakably yours. Pick your Scenic Route affirmation today and let it support you. Excited about where your journey might lead? I certainly am. Remember, the scenic route is not just about the destination, but the experiences, learnings, and joy we discover along the way. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you on the scenic route again.